It is 7:45. A call to action this morning from the Maryland Consumer Rights Coalition. It's asking Governor Hogan to stop all medical and student loan debt garnishments in the midst of this pandemic. This morning, Marceline White, the executive director of Maryland Consumer Rights Coalition, is joining us live on the phone to weigh in on where things stand right now. Marceline, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
You know, I think many assumed that this might be covered in the CARES Act. It's not the case, though. What can you tell us?
So one of the things that happened, I think Congress was moving quickly to get the CARES Act out. One of the things they neglected to do was to make it very clear that the stimulus checks that are coming into people's bank accounts are supposed to be used for people to tide them over while we're dealing with this health pandemic. Many people are also dealing with a wealth pandemic. They're suffering huge economic losses. It's supposed to be used for food, medicine, help smooth things over. Instead, what we're seeing is that in some places and in some cases, debt collectors are taking that money as soon as it hits the bank account to repay debts people owed, which isn't the intent. So we sent out a letter to Governor Hogan asking him to protect the stimulus checks from garnishment.
And I know some states have already done this and have been successful in doing so.
That's right. Illinois, Washington State, Massachusetts have all acted swiftly to protect this, very basic stimulus check so that people can use it as needed during this time period. And Governor Hogan has obviously taken good first steps in terms of putting a pause on evictions and on foreclosures and utility shutoffs. So this seems to us to be the next clear action we need to take to protect people's what money they have in their pockets while we're dealing with this crisis.
And just to make this very clear for all of our viewers watching at home, this is not to say that you don't need to pay this month. This would be that you would pay it at a later date. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I mean, what we're seeing is, of course, if you can keep paying your debts, you should absolutely do that, because the pauses put in place on evictions and utilities, in a couple of months, you're still going to have to pay that off. Mm-hmm. We know many people who've been furloughed or laid off. If the money's not there, the stimulus check is supposed to help you right now. Pay off what you need. Make sure you can get the food you need. Make sure you can cover your very basic needs. If people can save it and use it for something later, great. But the intention right now is that it shouldn't hit your bank account when you've been counting on that money and have it go instead to a credit card or to a debt collector. So
Marceline,
that's not the intention.
We appreciate, Marceline, that you weighing in on this and updating us on what's going on. Thank you.
I would love to. Thank you so much.
Of course.